Everybody goes shopping, and there's a chance you've seen an EV charging station while you were out one day. Tesla, ChargePoint, and EVgo all operate stations in the parking lots of grocery stores, movie theaters, malls, pharmacies, all sorts of retail locations. But among these charging companies stands one with a very unique business model. They're not as much of a charging company as they are an advertising company. Their stations have screens that show ads to everyone walking through the parking lot, giving this company more revenue per station than anyone else in the industry. This company is BLNK. No, I'm just kidding, it's Volta. They're actually the ones that have been doing this, as a lot of you watching might already know. Volta's been the only company using this ad-focused business model until now. BLNK, another competing charging company, is now looking to take on Volta in the retail charging ad space battle. They revealed a new product, the Vision IQ 200, back during their Q3 presentation last year, and these stations are finally supposed to start rolling out soon. Now, the thing that makes this product that BLNK is coming out with particularly interesting is the way it looks identical to a Volta station. So what does all this mean? Could BLNK end up beating Volta at their own game? That's the question I'll be answering in today's video. Disclaimer: the content of this video is for informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Do your own research before making any investment decision. To truly understand the power of Volta's business model, we'll first need to take a look at some of the other models used in the retail EV charging market. ChargePoint and EVgo represent the opposing sides of the standard EV charging model. ChargePoint makes money by selling hardware to site hosts who go on to own the station, while EVgo chooses to retain ownership of the station and make money off of the electricity they provide to drivers. But when we look at Volta, we see a model that doesn't exactly fit with these traditional models. Volta is similar to EVgo's model as they own their stations, but the difference is that Volta runs ads on their stations, which provides them with revenue even if the station isn't being used. This allows Volta to sell the electricity at a lower price, meaning more people will use those stations, and more people will shop at the site host's business. Because of this business model, it appears to me that Volta will end up being the dominant force in the retail charging market. Not as dominant in situations like fleet charging, apartments, and offices, but for retail areas in particular, this advertising model that Volta has seems to be the best. Because of this, BLNK also wants to get in. As I mentioned earlier, BLNK is developing their new Vision IQ 200 station. This is going to be a big shift for BLNK since they've always made their revenue purely from electricity sales for the stations that they own. However, BLNK's overall business model is kind of a combination of the station sales and station ownership models of ChargePoint and EVgo. BLNK owns a lot of their stations, but sometimes they sell their station to the site host, similar to how ChargePoint does. This means that any site hosts who own the station would be in full control over what gets advertised on that screen. Why is this a big deal? Because Volta is the owner and is in control of all of their screens. If a site host wants to advertise on Volta's screens, they'll need to pay Volta to do that, and they're going to be competing with every company in the world that wants to run an ad on Volta's screens. On the other hand, if they owned one of BLNK's Vision stations, they wouldn't need to pay anything to advertise, and they'd have full control over what's going on the screens. The big downside for the site host, however, is that they will still need to pay for the manufacturing and installation of the station. Remember though, there's still going to be that option for the BLNK-owned station model. This would allow site hosts to get the stations at no cost, but of course the catch there would be that BLNK would probably be the one in control of the screen, just like how Volta does it. So long story short, BLNK is trying to adopt Volta's advertising model and provide another option for the site host to own the station themselves that Volta does not offer at this time. So is BLNK about to destroy Volta with this new product that they're coming out with? Probably not. You see, Volta has been operating with this model for quite some time and has a really good understanding of what works and what doesn't. Volta is purely focused on earning recurring revenue rather than earning revenue upfront from the sale of hardware. Most site hosts aren't interested in getting into the EV charging business. Of course, there's going to be some that are, but most aren't. They just want the additional customers that having a charging station in their parking lot brings in. Because of this, I think it'll be more popular for Volta and BLNK to own the stations themselves. This model also opens those screens up to the entire world to advertise rather than being limited to the site host. Because of that, I think BLNK is going to pretty much need to completely adopt Volta's model in order for this product to be very successful. Unfortunately for BLNK, Volta is quite a ways ahead in this advertising model. Volta simply has thousands of stations already, while BLNK would practically be starting again from zero, adopting this new retail charging model. Of course, BLNK can still be successful with their products for fleet and home charging, but I think it's going to be really challenging for them to overtake Volta in the public retail charging market. Right off the bat, Volta's going to have a big lead over BLNK in advertising revenue per station, and they continue growing that lead more and more as I discussed in my video on Volta's Q2 earnings report. So go watch that video next, and I'll see you guys later.